And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster and I'm touching base with you. How are you all doing on this Tuesday, Tip Tuesday? We're going to do some photography tips today and I'll just throw it on the board. We're going to be doing low light magic smartphone photography tips. It's also for general photography, all the way, all general. So what's going on? How are you today? What is happening in your world? What is happening in your world today? We're going to also talk about what's happening with the Fed chairman today. And I think it's important that you should know what's going on with the Fed chairman, because who the Fed chairman is going to make a big difference on your wallet. The Fed chairman makes a big impact on your wallet. And you need to know what's going on so you could be prepared for your future. Let's get some good mornings in. And also, if you're in the building, make sure you hit the likes, smash the likes, so that the algorithms can know that we are on and that you are here with me. Okay, here we go. The first person in the building with the gold is Hannah. Hannah's in the building. She says, good morning, Ron and Touch Base Daily family. The silver goes to Miss G. She says, good morning. And the bronze goes to Anthony Rowland. Happy anniversary, Mr. Rowland. And good morning, he says. And it is his anniversary. I believe it's your work anniversary. Or is it your wedding anniversary? But no, it's one of these anniversaries. Or are they both the same? Let me know. See, Hannah says good morning to everyone. Jazzy is in the building. She says good morning, beautiful people. Good morning. So what are you guys up to this morning? First of all, what are you drinking this morning? How about that? I'm drinking lemonade with ginger and what else is in this glass? Lemons, ginger, and a little bit of agave. What are you drinking this morning? What's in your cup? What is in your cup this morning? And so, yeah. Anyway, I see. Hannah and everybody's greeting. And Anthony says, it is, thank you, 13th wedding anniversary. And I'm drinking Earl Grey tea. Happy anniversary, Anthony. Happy anniversary. I cannot wait to get to Texas to hang out with you one day. I got a lot of Texans I got to hang out with. I got Gwendolyn to hang out with. I got you to hang out with. I got Omar to hang out with. And there's so many more. G says, I had a cappuccino with a dash of Kulula. And Hannah says, I'm drinking water and lemon. Lemon. And hey, Chris Baylor is in the building. So good to see you, bro. Elbows deep in last minute seniors and college grads. Oh, you're out there on those streets working. Yeah, really nice. And Mimi says, happy anniversary, Anthony. Happy anniversary. That's from the wonderful Mimi Hinton. So can we are y'all ready to dive into some news? Are y'all ready to dive into some news that you need to know? Okay, let's try to do that. And but yeah, so that's what we're drinking this morning. We are drinking. There's two things I love in the morning. Three things. Well, what really that I love is my lemon, water, and ginger. And then also my hibiscus, cinnamon, and ginger. What else is in that thing? Yes. And both have a little bit of agave, because that's what I do. I don't use sugar. I do not use sugar. So there you have it. Let's see who's in the building here. Let me see what's going on. Is Instagram up to par? Yeah, let me see. Make sure that's happening in that area. Okay, yes, Instagram is properly up and loaded. Okay, cool. And I see Elise is in the building. She says, good morning, everyone. Good morning. And Mimi says she's drinking chamomile tea, lemon, ginger, and a splash of flaxseed. Nice. That sounds nice and delicious, Mimi. That sounds nice. And so, what else you guys are drinking? Anyone that's not at least we just asked, what are you drinking this morning? I was wondering if someone's gonna break out with I'm drinking some gin or some liquor. No morning drinkers here in the building. And but anyway, so yeah, so that's what's happening. Let's go right to it. I think yeah, here we go. Let's do that. That's because yesterday the market was down at one point 1,500 points. And market was down big time yesterday. And we keep losing our value. Not only was the market down, but the dollar was down also. The only thing that was up yesterday was what's called the VIX, the VIX. The VIX index is a measure of volatility in the stock market. This is called the VIX, VIX index. And when that number is going high, that means people are losing confidence in the economy. Volatility is happening. And that is what that number is. So you want to know where the market is going also, the indicators. Remember we talked about the S&P last week or 2 weeks ago. This week I'm bringing you the VIX, the VIX. The higher it goes up, the more volatility in the market, and the more you need to be aware of what's happening. The market has become unstable. Oh, there's some more anniversaries here, I see, as in to Anthony. Okay, so before we start, Elise says, happy anniversary, Anthony. Hannah says, happy anniversary. And Mimi says, how do I miss the Texas folks? And I'm in Texas all the time, shaking my head. We need Texas meetups. Yeah, look, you got several people in Texas. Several people live in Texas. You could just go to Gwendolyn. I'm sure Gwendolyn will set something up because Gwendolyn is social with people in Texas. Gwendolyn will get in a car and travel anywhere to support friends. I know. She gets on a plane and come up and support me. And she does that with all her peoples. So you got it. I need to reach out to Gwendolyn because she is one of the greatest supporters. I see another Jazzy says, happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. Anthony, you're getting lots of love today. You're getting lots of love. Chris says, Ron, there's 3 of us in North Texas. You'll know out in one visit. That's right. I can knock it out in one visit. Omar, Anthony, look at that. That's 4 people in this community in Texas. Wow. And Northern Texas at that. All in one location. That's not even me going down to Austin where I have friends in Austin. I have friends in Houston. 1 friend, 2 friends in Houston, 1 friend there. Yeah, I could do a whole Texas tour. I see everybody's reaching out. G says, let me get up there. G says, where are you, Mimi? Where are you? And look at Anthony says, thanks for the love, everyone. And yes, right. Here she goes. She says it. This is her confession. I'm that cheerleader. Lord bless. Yeah. Gwendolyn is your best cheerleader. She will cheer you on. She's amazing. That's why she's an amazing work wife. Mimi says, Gwendolyn, I'm in Tennessee, but used to live in Austin. I'm in Dallas and Austin several times a year. And I am Misery says, I live in Fort Worth, Texas also. What? I didn't know you were in Texas, Reese. Holy moly. That's 5, 6 people in Texas. Oh, I gotta be nice to you, Texans. I have to be nice. I have to play nice in the sandbox. Holy moly, a lot of you are from Texas. G says, me, Hinton. I was just in Tennessee last week. Stopped in Shelbyville. Look at all these connections in this building. G says, what? We're neighbors since I'm in Arlington. What the heck? See, that's why these little people think that these little chats, like as we scroll through and talk and share, is a waste of time. No, I really believe that community should be talking. We can always get to the news. I think the most important part of what we do here is that we connect with each other, right? That's the most important thing. It's about community. It's about community. Look at that. Miss Reese said, yes, sir, I am. I moved here April 2019. Anthony says, yes, we finally met at Imaging. Gwendolyn is awesome. Y'all need to all connect. Y'all need to be each other's champions. I'm sure y'all guys can do all kinds of stuff with photographs. Y'all can create your own little workshops. Just saying. You got Omar, you got Anthony, you got Gwendolyn, you got Miss Reese, you got all these people here. Texas is in the house. I did not know. A good core, a nice chunk of you from this community are from Texas. Huh? Who knew? Who knew? And she says, Elise, you have any trips to Austin coming up? Hint. That's right. Austin is the art. Would you consider Austin the art capital of Texas? Which, I mean, it is the capital, but I mean, do you think it would be the art capital? Because there's a lot of galleries in Austin. Oh, I am floored here. All you Texans. Okay, it's time to get to the news. It's time to get to the news. And then we have fun, especially when it came time to make groceries. Don't tell Trump about that because he knows nothing about groceries. Chris says, I'm from Austin, but lived here in North Dallas since being stationed here in 1990. Wow. Chris says, no, it's just the central point. Jay says, I'm not from Texas, but G gave me some great recommendations when I went to Houston. Yes, G has a lot of information. Anthony says, yes, Austin is artsy, and San Antonio has the culture. Yes. Do you know, I've never been to San Antonio. I heard San Antonio has culture and galleries also. Yes. She says, no, I consider Houston my spot for upcoming and inspiring Black art and artists. Elise says, good morning, G. Yet, I keep telling my daughter that I have to come visit. Ooh, excuse me. Yes. Okay, y'all. Are y'all finished? Are we finished with Texas? Are we finished? No need to proceed until you guys are finished. Houston is beautiful. I love Houston. I think Houston's a beautiful place to go. I went for Gwendolyn's wedding, and then I went to one of my buddies was there, so we went to hang out in Houston, and then I went to Houston for as a layover to go to a cruise. So Houston is an interesting place. I love Houston. Fifi is in the building. Okay, guys, make sure you hit those likes. Make sure you hit those likes. It lets people know you're here. Make sure you hit those likes. Smash it. Smash the likes. Smash it. Okay. Enough of that, right? Enough of that. Look at y'all. Y'all are just having a ball here. There is a lot of art in Houston. Yes, you know what's really my favorite place in Houston? Well, no, there's many places that are beautiful in Houston. But one of the most, if you haven't been, is the Butterfly Conservancy in Houston. They have one of the best butterfly collections in the world. I mean, the next best one I've been to is in Costa Rica. But if you want to catch the butterfly, I did so much photography at the Houston Butterfly Conservancy. Beautiful, beautiful place to go and hang out. Calm, relaxing. The butterflies are everywhere. Every kind of butterfly. It's one of my favorite places to go when I'm in Houston. Okay. Okay. Enough with the Houston. Enough with Texas. We've been on Texas for a while. Texas life. I love it. Okay. Here we go. Let's talk Fed. So yesterday, again, the market was down big time. Then it came back up at the end of the day. It retreated, came back, returned to like, it was only down 900 points. Today is making a comeback, is at 600 points, but still not overcoming the losses of the day before, which seems to be the trend. Which is the trend. I can never hate anything about Texas. No, no, no. Texas is a very independent state. They have a drum beat of their own. There we go. But back to this market. Because a lot of us have already lost lots of money in the last couple of weeks. Well, the last 2 months. Really the last month or two. And it's not a loss until you take out. For those that have stocks, those that have, money in the stock market, your 401ks and all that stuff, the best thing you can do is just leave it and let it ride, right? Even though this is the first time, I want to say, well, yeah, it is the first time. It is the first time that we've had an induced foot wound, like someone shot themselves in the foot. Most of the time that the market has done this kind of major volatility and dropped so heavily is because of world geopolitical problems. Something happening overseas, maybe there's a war, maybe there's conflict, maybe there's just inflation, maybe there's a pandemic that breaks out, maybe there's some kind of bottleneck in the transports across the oceans, maybe there's a shipping crisis, maybe there's people protesting and they're saying, you know what, we're not going to be all the dock people decide to walk out off the docks. But no time in history have we had the stock market fall and fall because of one individual. One individual is causing all of the problems. One individual. And then secondary, the lack of the Congress to do their job to check the individual. So we have a problem. And if you didn't think it could get worse, if you did not think the market could get worse, then I want you to listen to this. Here we go. And this is going to give you some insight because it is worth listening to about what happened yesterday. Let me get that going.
Attacks from President Trump on Fed Chair Jerome Powell sent stocks sliding. Dow Jones tumbled 971 points. NASDAQ dropped 415 points. Dollar at its lowest level since 2022. Chief Economics Correspondent Rebecca Jarvis is on Wall Street. Good morning, Rebecca.
Good morning, George. And stocks are seeing a little bit of a bounce this morning after yesterday's near 1,000-point slide. As you say, all of this happening as President Trump ramps up his attacks on Fed Chair Powell. In a social media post, the president calling Powell a, quote, major loser, pressing him to cut interest rates. The president recently threatening to fire his handpicked Fed chair, something he can't technically do, according to a 90-year-old Supreme Court president, except in cases of neglect and malfeasance. Economists have warned this is one more uncertainty rattling investors. Businesses say this is a very difficult environment for big decision making. Meantime, investors continue to buy gold, something they tend to do in times with great unknowns. That has sent gold prices to the highest levels on record, nearly $3,500 an ounce.
All right, Rebecca, our thanks to you.
Wall Street now, we're
So there you have something that you should know about and what's going on. And I know some people say, "Oh my gosh, I should be buying gold." Well, probably not. You probably don't want to rush out and buy gold right now because why? Gold is trading very high. No, I mean, I never thought I would see the day that gold is trading at near $3,500 an ounce. I remember when it was just $200 an ounce, $300 an ounce. But now it's trading at 3,487, I think it was yesterday. It's trading at all-time highs. And you know the rule of trading. If you trade commodities, if you trade stocks, you buy low and sell high, right? So as the market is going down, people are selling off, because people are buying stocks and selling off. But then the gold is going up, but you don't want to be buying it at the highs because what happens as soon as the economy begins to stabilize, if it will stabilize, then the gold prices will come down. But hats off to all the people that bought gold in Costco from Costco's. I didn't know you could buy gold at Costco's until this year. Really, until like 5 weeks ago. Did not know that you could go to Costco's and buy gold. Who knew? I didn't even know other than the commodity exchange, I didn't know you could buy gold. But my question is, if you buy gold at Costco's, where do you put it? Where does it go? Do you actually buy a tangible piece of gold? Do you buy a gold brick? Do you buy gold, or is it digitally owned? What is it? I need to look more into the Costco gold. There is a Costco gold rush going on right now. Do you guys know about the Costco's gold rush? Lots of people are talking about it like, oh, I gotta get gold. I gotta go to Costco's. Did not know. And Fifi says, geez, yeah. But the market was down big time yesterday. And that is a problem. The last hinge that we have to world investors investing in our country that are, if you have a volatile, if you don't have the right Fed chairman, it could sink your country. If you don't have the right Fed chairman, it could sink your country. What are you guys saying in here about Costco's? It says here, you guys are saying, yes, of course I did not buy it. Okay, let me go back to what Lee said. Okay, Lee says, my daughter told me a couple of years ago that I should have bought gold. Lee says, of course, I did not buy it. Neither did I. My friends used to always tell me to buy gold, and I never bought gold back in the day. Didn't see the purpose of it. G says, oh yeah, it always sells out fast. Really? Are we talking about gold? Mimi says, Kimmy, yes, shop around. Hold on as long as you can. Costco's was selling gold bars. Did not know. So it comes as a bar. It's a bar. So I guess what you would do is you would buy the bar from Costco's and then put it in your safe deposit box somewhere. You can't store gold in your house. You need a safe deposit box, I would think. Right? Would you agree? Would you agree? Chris says, I got my kids and several of her teammates for soccer, the bonus girls, and several siblings of previous seniors, blessings, and then some. I see Mimi says, it's a gold bar. I received one of a gift. Holy moly, that gift is a good gift. Because we talking, a bar is not an ounce, correct? How many ounces is in a bar? Computer, how many ounces are in a bar of gold?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, there are 35.2 ounces in a gold bar.
35. If you own a gold bar, that's 35 ounces. 35 ounces times 35,000. That's right, 3,500. My bad. Got a little carried away. 3,500. That's some good money. Mimi, do you have a 35-ounce bar? Don't tell us. Don't tell anymore. Don't tell anymore. We don't want people showing up at your doorstep. Holy moly. Anthony says Costco literally sells everything. Hell yeah. Kimmy says it was $2,000 a bar last year. We'll look at it this year. And he says, in these crazy times, you may need to have gold in your hand. Mimi says a small bar. Oh, wow. Mimi says, yes, Elise, you need something to barter, trade, since the dollar is sinking. Yes, buying gold at Costco, the gold moves fast, says Gwendolyn. I had no idea. I had no idea. Who knew? Obviously, Mimi knew. Let's see here. Fifi says, I honestly forgot they sold gold. I never knew until this year. I never knew till 5 weeks ago. Bryson says, what's up, Ron? What's up, RLP fam? What's up, everybody? Happy Tombstone 4K Blu-ray Tuesday. Mimi says, yes, lock it down. Wow. You guys are up on a lot of stuff. That's why community is important. Community is important. So, back to the Fed chairman. What makes America an amazing place to invest? The reason why people invest in America, one, stability. America has been known for financial stability. That regardless of what's happening in the world, America was always stable as a financial investment for other countries in the world. So countries invest in America to get a good return to help them with their countries. So they bet on America because of stability. Now, what Trump has done, or some people like to say 45 or 47, 45, 47. Some people don't like to say his name. What he has done in the last 6 weeks is cause great volatility in the market. Financially, the country is not as stable as it was before he took office. The tariffs have made us unstable. playing games with other countries and raising the tariffs. Oh, we're going to raise it not 100%. We're going to raise it 35%. We're going to raise it 245%. We're going to raise it all over the place. Instability. So people are beginning to say, wait a minute, America is no longer a place to invest. And we need those investments. We need when people invest in our treasury bonds, because that's how things get done in our country. Because other countries like Japan, who has the largest bulk of our money, largest treasury bills, and you have also China, who has large amounts of our debt, which is bought in treasury bills. But most people, when the market began to fall, we talked about this last week or two. Yeah, I think it was last week. Usually, when the market falls, like the stock market is going through some little turmoil, a little, as they call it, a cold, the stock market gets a cold and the stocks start to fall. People run to bonds, the T-bills, treasuries, right? They move to them and invest in that, because investing in America is stability. What makes us different from other countries around the world is that we have also a Fed chairman. Some other countries have them too, right? England, UK has one, French, Germans, all of the industrial nations have a Fed chairman. Well, type person in charge of interest rates. And how they do that is based on the economy. If there's too much inflation, then the Fed has to raise the rates to try to bring some stability, to bring those interest rates back down. But then as the interest rates come back down, then they can lower the interest rates. That's how it usually runs. Too much inflation, bring up the interest rates, slow down the economy, reel it all back in so that you have a stable economy. The Fed chairman is very, 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 very important. And you need to know what is about to happen or may happen or that's trying to happen. Trump wants to get rid of the Fed chairman. He wants to get rid of the current Fed chairman. It is fascinating to me. It is fascinating in some ways, but it's also amazing how a dumb person thinks they're so smart. Why would you get rid of the experts? But this is the administration or the regime that has been getting rid of all the experts in education, experts in financials, experts in health, experts in germ, CDCs, experts in weather, experts in NOAA, and all these places. All the experts are being getting rid of. There's got to be a master plan, right? When the people are uneducated, you can tell them what you want. But back to the Fed chairman. And so all the Feds around the world, they also meet and strategize how to keep the world economies going. Right? So you need a good Fed chairman. I have a book here. It's an interesting read of a chairman that we had in the, I would say, during the 80s or the 80s and 90s, in the Alan Greenspan, right? This is a book on the age of turbulence, adventures in a new world. They didn't know this was a picnic back then compared to what Trump was putting us through. But this was Alan Greenspan, one of the most famous Fed chairmen in our history, right? He was doing this book after 9/11, Global Economies. And Alan Greenspan was a good chairman until he overextended. Like he kept the interest rates high. It messed up the economy. So you have to have the chairman is like a dance. It's like a dance. It's a dance. You got to know how much to bring it back, how much to pump the economy, how much to pull the economy back, how much to energize the economy. It's a dance. It's a constant dance. And you must say, Chairman Powell has done an excellent job for we nerds that follow finances and the economies. This chairman we have today is incredibly good. One of the best. I think he'll go down probably as one of the best in history. And you got the moron president calling him names and wants to get rid of him like he did with Fauci. Remember, he set the whole thing up. They had to go after Fauci. Fauci was right. Fauci made some mistakes, but Fauci was right. COVID wasn't a perfect situation. But again, blaming someone else. See, he realizes he has made some major mistakes. And he wants the Fed chairman to bring down the interest rates. And the Fed says, no, you've already mucked up the economy with tariffs. We don't even know the harm that has been done to the country because of your tariffs. We are not touching the interest rates until we know the outcomes. We're not lowering interest rates. We might have to raise them because of your tariffs. And because he may have to raise them. But see, Trump is always short-sighted. And again, why would anyone trust a man that bankrupt casinos? Why would someone that bankrupt his company 6 times, why would anyone trust the word of this moron? Sorry to call him a moron, but that's what he is. Right? Jazzy says, this sounds like a dance we as Americans have no control over. So how do we realistically fight against it? Well, we do in some ways. Because it's really the Congress that controls the purse strings of the government, right? Financial matters lies with the Congress, but the Congress is not doing its job. And until voters are on the case of their Congress people, Congress will not step in line. Until these Congress people feel they are going to be kicked out of office, there's no help. But I bring this up for you to begin to think about what's happening right now. Trump wants to get rid of the Fed chairman, an excellent chairman, a person with his team, because again, it's not just what he is he's the chairman, but there's a whole posse, there's a whole group of them that work together to create an amazing federal order. I see Elise says, Congress has the power to end this, but they are controlled by him. Yes. And you probably say, why does Trump want to lower the interest rates because he's short term. All he's thinking about is he and his rich buddies. Because if you lower the interest rates, what? You can borrow money at lower rates. You can borrow money at lower rates. However, though, if the rates are too low, you can cause inflation, which is what we did. Remember what we did during COVID? We pumped money into the system. We lowered interest rates to the very bottom. And people began to spend. Because money is free. And then you have to raise the interest rates to match the spending of money. So you don't continue to have inflationary numbers. So keep an eye on this subject. I'm just saying, keep an eye on this subject. There is no answer to this. I know you're saying, oh, but again, it's the people. The power relies with the people. However, the people are brainwashed. The people, some of those Congress people are not going to be voted out because they have MAGA bases, or their voting pool has been gerrymandered. So they could do whatever they want. They're not going to get voted out. But you need to understand your dollars. Where do you put your money? If you guys have access to financial planners, you may want to sit down with your financial planner. If you're about to retire, you may want to sit down with your financial planner. Right? And a lot of times you just go into the banks and have a conversation with your bankers. And so that you can understand what's happening with money right now. So here's your to-do. Here's your call to purpose. Follow what's happening with the Fed chairman this week. Some say he's not going to be kicked out because, remember, the SCOTUS that ruled that was impossible. I mean, you can't just get rid of the chairman. The Fed chairman operates independently of the government, of the presidency. But this guy wants total control over everything, and he's not a smart man. If Trump was a smart man, then people may say, "Oh, maybe if you were brilliant, you can do this." But he's an idiot. He is not smart. The man is not smart at all. Why would you want to tinker with the Fed chairman position? Again, they say a lot of times because of Alan Greenspan, like I said, he was good at one point, but then it was Alan Greenspan that pushed us into a recession. Because again, politics, when you start playing with politics and negotiating with you got to just do your job as the Fed chairman. The Fed chairman, so important. And so I'm going to give you this one last headline, and then we're going to do some teaching. We're going to get into our lesson for today. Okay, we're good. Okay, timing is good. Timing is good. Let me stop this one, and I'm going to show you one thing that you should be aware of to help you understand this. A little reading for you as well, besides ABC's clipping. But there is also on this. This is Politics magazine, I do believe. Hold on a sec. Yeah, Politics. And it says the next Jerome Powell is the next Trump crisis. The president is going to fire the Federal Reserve chairman, and the Supreme Court is going to let him. We hope not. We hope not. We hope not. Always commercials, right? Always commercials on there. Because as I write, President Donald Trump is doing what he loves best, which is to gather the world's attention as he threatens to break some rule or other. This time, he's preparing to fire Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, aka Mr. Too Late to Lower Interest Rates, a major loser, says Trump. If only because the world can't quite believe Trump will do this, he will do it. Probably in the next day or two, but certainly well before Powell's term ends in May 2026. More importantly, the Supreme Court will allow it to happen. The market plunged Monday, so you know that yesterday, because I keep seeing the world unprecedented in news reports about the possibility of Powell's firing. It is not unprecedented. Granted, no president has ever fired a Fed chair, but the Fed is an independent agency, and Trump has already fired a baker's dozen such officials at nominally independent agencies. This includes 3 members at the Privacy and Civil Liberties Oversight Board, 2 each at the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission and the Federal Trade Commission, and 1 each at the National Labor Relations Board, the Federal Election Commission, the Office of Special Counsel, and the Merit Systems Protection Board, the Federal Labor Relations Authority, and the Consumer Financial Protections Bureau. These firings have caused no small amount of chaos within the administrative state, which matters more than even liberals fully understand. But the market didn't tank when these early officials were fired because the market neither knows nor cares what else government agencies do. They are all important bulwarks against corruption in the public and private sector, which is something the financial markets ought to think about, but don't. However, the financial market thinks a lot about the Fed, which is why the stock market and the dollars are both tanking as he writes this. And it goes on. But you can find it. I'll have the link in there. You can finish reading it. This is so important, guys. So important. Which says you. Mimi said, I am Reese says, hold on a second. They need to hold him accountable. Elise says, we are going to have to do what Black people used to do. Put your money under your mattress. Or put it in a box, in a metal box somewhere in your apartment. Anthony says, we met with our financial advisor last week. Got to stay on top of it. Anthony, excellent. Fifi says, at least that's what it's coming to. Jazzy, the people in this moment can call their politicians and speak their disdain and keep calling. We can't wait for 2026 to yield our power. Elise says, this is what the Heritage Foundation. Yes, this is in Project 2025, y'all. And Elise says, exactly, Jazzy. So, as you go about your day and you go about your week, keep an eye on this matter, because the moment that this Fed chairman is fired by Trump, and if the Supreme Court allows him and yields him to do it, America will become another reason, I should say, not to be invested in. Because the reason why people invest in America is for stability. And if there is no more stability, if this country is now ran like, as they say, a banana republic, then there will be no reason to keep your money as investments in the economy of the United States of America. I'll say it again. If Trump removes the Fed chairman, you thought yesterday's markets were down. The markets were down big time yesterday. And you've seen the markets going down, up and down because of there's always something with this dude. But the Fed chairman is a pin. It is a cog pin holding the economy together, even in the midst, because with all the tariffs that are going on, it takes a smart Fed chairman to adjust for the economy so that the economy can continue to flow and work for the people. But if the chairman, you put in a yes man to that seat that does whatever the president says, we are all doomed. We are all doomed as Americans. So it's another good reason to call your chairman. It's like, call your congressman, call your senators, call them. Call them every day. I remember when I was in school and my records got mixed up and I was supposed to go to aviation high school, but they had me in the local high school. And I was like, I could not survive here. My life depends on it. So every single day at lunchtime, I went to my dean. He says, you're here again. I said, until you get my records right and put me where I belong, I will be here every single day until you get my records and send them to aviation high school so I can go to the high school of my choice. I went every day, lunchtime, every day. He knew me by name. He knew my face because I knew it was life and death that I would be at that school. I mean, it was a rough school. Sarah, if you're from Brooklyn, you know Sarah J. Hale used to be a rough school. My first day, someone got stabbed. I was like, no, I'm too preppy for this. I'm too good. I can't stay here. And I went every single day to the dean's office, every day. You must get my records. You must find them. I will not settle. Shoot, my mother didn't even care. She cared, but my mother was not me. I was 15 years old. 15 years old. And knew you had to speak up for your rights. I don't know how I learned it, but I learned it. That was my first time standing up for myself. Well, with administrations. You have to keep at it. One of my friends was saying he was photographing the event Saturday with all the marchers. He says, Ron, the sad thing about it is there were less people than the weeks before. And he's a white guy. And he said, the problem with us white folks, we think we just got to do it one time and we're finished. You got to keep doing it. You got to keep protesting. If you guys are going to go onto the front lines, you better do it every 2 weeks. That's what they're planning to do. Every 2 weeks. You cannot stop. You got to keep doing it. Look at Target. Target, their stock price has gone down because black folks, which is a big share, and some white folks, Say, we ain't shopping at Target. And now Target is at the table trying to figure out with some of the black leaders now saying, how can we reconcile? But that didn't just come because they just did one day of not shopping at Target. Right? You have to be consistent. People say, Ron, how are you? How are you doing on social media? You're there every day. Yes, I'm here every day. You must be consistent in whatever you decide to do in life. Consistent. Be consistent. Keep beating the drum. Keep beating the drum. We cannot afford to lose the Fed chairman. If you thought the economy is bad today, you have no idea what's coming, and it is going to be a tsunami. As soon as countries begin to pull out their money from America, it's over. It's over. Because once they go, they're not coming back. We're already seeing that with the tariff war. Canada says, okay, you know what? You are causing problems. Guess what? We don't have to give you anything. We don't have to give you oil. We don't have to give you wood. We'll just, as they did last week, I think it was last week or the week before, we will negotiate with Europe. Because remember, Europe, in their protests against Russia, had higher oil prices because they're not getting oil from Russia. And a lot of European countries are suffering because they do get lots of oil from Russia, but they turned off they said, well, nope, we're not going to buy from Russia. But now America, who was getting cheap oil from Canada, was a fool. Because now Canada says, guess what? We gave you a discount, America, but we don't have to give a discount to Europe. We can get a lot more money for that same oil. And Europe said, bring it on, because we need the oil. Come on, bring it on. Americans have no idea how good they have it. When you travel in Europe, Americans freak out about $3 a gallon. When you go overseas, it's $6 a gallon. That's right. America has the lowest gas prices in the world because of negotiations with Canada and our own reserves. Anyway, I could go down that road, but I'm just saying, guys, have a meeting. If you don't have a financial advisor, you may want to invest and take some time in getting one. If you have a 401k and you have an account at a brokerage firm, or maybe you don't have it invested at all. And you may say, oh, this don't apply to me because I don't have any investments. It applies to you as well, because the prices of everything are going to continue to rise. Inflation is never good. You'll end up, we will be like I hate using the term third world country, but we will be like countries that are not as industrialized as we are, where you go to the pharmacy and you pay $6 for a little thing of aspirin, or you pay $50 for something that costs $6 in America. Thank you, Anthony. Anthony knows what I'm talking about. Gas is £6. So that's technically $7 almost in European money, in American dollars. If it's $6, remember the European euro is has more value than the American dollar. So today we had a little economic conversation. I hope that you will learn from this economic conversation, talking about the financial markets. Everything works together. Everything is important. I know people say, I don't know anything about Wall Street. One of my friends, I'm teaching him how to teaching him how to understand the stock market. It is important that you know what's going on in the financial markets. Learn it. Turn on the TV once in a while and just listen to what's going on in the financial markets. CNBC, good channel for the financial markets. Bloomberg, a good channel for financial markets. BBC, good for global financial markets. Right? Learn these things because it's going to impact your life in so many ways, especially with this crazy person in office. You need to understand where we're going and where we are and how we got here and how we get out of it, if we can. Let's do some photography. I got you. Yeah, I'm off my soapbox. The soapbox, I'm giving over to teaching photography now. Chris says, Anthony, my boy, Randy Harris was there and shared a clip. I totally forgot about it. Happened staring the hate post as usually they did. Funny how they still wore masks. Yep, back in the day, that's how they did it. They painted Fauci as a bad guy because they were so ill prepared and wrong. Remember Trump? Take some bleach. Meanwhile, the professionals are shaking their head like, I can't believe this person is on the podium. They always look for a scapegoat. And they look for the smart person in the room as a scapegoat. Ooh. Okay, let's talk photography. Okay, before we go there, let me let you know where this is coming from. So that way you'll have that in play here. Let's go there. Gwendolyn, you see, I do the same thing you do all the time, right? This is my intermission song as I'm moving around my here. Here we go. So just so you know, and I bring this up, you will find this lesson on the Patreon page for the Patreon community. And again, it's called Low Light Magic Smartphone Photography Tips. And yeah, it works. It does work, G. I love it. It works. Everyone loves a good tune. But if you go to if you become a member of the Patreon community, I always say I will give you more than you give me. And well, technically give it to this community and what we do here. But again, you can get all of the lessons, all of the Motivation Mondays, all of the stuff that we do, all of it lives here on Patreon. And since April is my Patreon month to try to drum up people to support what we do here, and you can go to the membership page and you can become a Patreon member for $3 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, $15 a month, and it goes on. And every one of these has benefits. So become a Patreon member. Flick on one of these, and you can just go to patreon.com. Let me just make sure where's my little banner so I can do that so you'll have it. Oh, I tell you, the things we do for love. There you go. Join my Patreon community. www.patreon.com. That's how we keep the lights on. That's how I'm able to show up with you guys every day. You have here the blue, which is $3 a month, a cup of Joe. You have the yellow, community access. You have the purple, which says making a difference, which I recommend to everyone. Orange, making a bigger difference, which is $15. And then sky, I love the love of photography. And then red, basic photography 101, because some of y'all are in this and y'all still haven't requested your time for your photography lessons. But there you go. You have it. Just go through it, learn it, read it. And then you have access to all of the collections that we have here, all the different accomplishments, podcast interviews, media, giveaways, all that stuff lives here. So check it out. Check it out. Patreon. I love Patreon because it supports what we do here. It helps support what we do. Okay, so there you have it. Now let's get to the lesson. It is time for the lesson. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Low light magic smartphone photography tips. Now, I know there's a lot of you guys out there. Photography is done with this. You guys are, this is your camera. This is your tool. Your camera is your phone. And so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I forgot to say today is Happy Earth Day. Today is Earth Day. All the folks out there, it's Earth Day. It's Earth Day. Okay, back to the program. So here we go. It is time for low light magic smartphone photography tips to help you with your photography. Let's dive in. Okay, here we go. First of all, number one, boom, 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 boom. Find the light. Look for ambient light sources like street lights, candles, neon signs. Position your subject near these for a soft, moody glow. You ever see some of those photos where you see like these funky, nice, beautiful, like rim light of purples and blues and all kinds of stuff? You can use those tricks by just, if this is really after the sun sets, right? You're outside and you still want to take pictures. The sun has already set and you want to still take pictures of your friends and your loved ones and the people you're hanging out with. The best way to do it, don't just take the camera out and shoot. No, move your subject over to a lamppost, underneath the lamppost, or go under, like this says, like neon signs. Anything that's lighting up is going to be a great place to create beautiful photos. Light, find the light. Get your subject under the light, below the light, across from the light. Same thing, you have the neon lights in storefronts. Here in New York City, you go to the East Village, there's lots of neon lights everywhere because of all the bars that, people like to hang out on the East Side. LES, Lower East Side of Manhattan, New York City. Same thing with Williamsburg. Bars, neon lights on the side, in the window. Position your subject in front of the window so that the light glows on them. It's okay if the light is green. It's okay if the light is yellow. It's okay if the light is red. It gives you a beautiful piece of photography. Again, making it unique and beautiful. Next. Yeah, some lights there. Christmas lights are the best lights, right? They're everywhere. People use them everywhere and for all around. You can plug one in or just hang around them. Street lamps, there you go. Get under the street lamp. Get under the street lamp. Next, steady hands, sharper shots. Remember we were talking, Dr. Tachi mentioned this on her platform. We talk about the 3 points. Elbow. Hold them close to your body. In, and then hold the camera. Now you have stability. Now your camera is not, if you just hold it like this, the camera is going to shake because we humans have nerves. And some of our nerves are a little more in motion than others. Right? So if you hold it with one hand, you're still not going to get it stable. And people say, why do I get blurry shots? Well, because you're shaking. It's blurring. Think of it as a paintbrush. Right? So you get blurry pictures because your hand is moving. But if you take this elbow, hold it tight to your body, and then take the picture, you create what's called 3 points of contact. 1 point, 2 point, and the third point, the hands on the camera. Okay? That's going to give you better photos. A steady hand gives you sharper images. Here we go. Avoid camera shake by stabilizing your phone against a solid surface. That's another way, is finding a surface and setting it on, like a shelf or a ridge or a railing or something to hold it and then take the picture. It's sitting on something. So because your camera at low light will adjust if you put it on low settings, and we'll talk about that too. Or you can use tripods and gimbals, right? We got these little gimbal guys or these little things that you can walk around with and attach your phone to. And then it has legs, and then you can set it down somewhere on a sidewalk or wherever you can find, on a car. Get permission, right? Tripods, gimbals. My tripod is in my bag. I will show that to you. Or you get these little things you get at fairs. Like I have this one. You put this in, you put the phone in here. It sits there, and then you place it on something to stabilize and take your picture. Right? You get these at this one is from New York City Health and Hospitals. Just got it as a little gift, a parting gift. Okay, so avoid camera shakes by stabilizing your phone against a solid surface or using a tripod. Use also your 3 points. I didn't put that in there. I forgot to put that one in there. But a steady shot is everything in low light. Because low light, your camera is going to adjust for a lower shutter speed. And if you have a lower shutter speed, it's going to pick up all your motions. Okay? Chris says, try not to put people under the lighting, as you will have eye socket shadows. This is very true. If you're shooting portraits, if you have reflections, bank light into the face. Or you can go, if you have a white piece of paper, another trick for we photographers. Sometimes you don't have a reflector. You just don't have it. But you might have a bag with a white paper in it. Take out the paper and let the light come off the wall, reflect into the paper and onto the skin of the person. Or you can do it with the sunlight. If you let the sun reflect onto the paper and just kind of like hold it here and then take the picture, and this is in daylight, sunlight, and let it reflect. But paper, white paper or white pizza box, as some folks use, photographers, when we can't find a reflector or we just happen not to have a reflector, but yes, someone calls us to do a photo shoot quickly and we just like, oh, I don't have my tools. You're going to run across the street to the pizza box, to the pizza place, and say, hey, can I buy a pizza box from you? And then you take that pizza box and use the back of it, which is all white usually, and use it as a reflector, as a bounce. The light bounces off the pizza box onto the subject. Didn't mean to go down that road, but thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. Bounce light. You can just bounce the light using simple things. Paper, pizza box. You never thought about that, right? I bet you never thought about that. How many of you know that trick? Did anybody know do you guys know about the pizza box trick? Huh. There's a pizza shop somewhere, everywhere, in every town. Go get the pizza box to act as a reflector. Chris says, I do. Chris says, I do. The pizza box. We photographers, that's our last minute thing. When we can't find a reflector, we didn't bring it. We got to make it. We got to create it. The shoot must go on. Okay, you see like this one, she's got a gimbal here, a gimbal on a tripod. I mean, sorry, her phone is on the gimbal, and then you got tripods in the back there, tripod on the table there. Tripods are so good. Also, next, turn off flash. I should say in big letters, capitals all the way across. Turn off the flash. There's nothing worse. You see people taking their flash out, turning on the flash at nighttime. It makes the photo look horrible. It's hard. It's rough. It's just horrible. Right? But what you can do is change your settings. Change your phone settings. Here we go. The harshness of a flash can ruin the vibe. Instead, increase your phone's exposure settings or use night mode to capture natural tones. So in your phone, you can change it and say night mode, especially the Android people. The Android people, man, you got it going on when it comes to your cameras. Because many of the Androids, I mean, my little Apple phone here, which I've just started using Apple, it has some capabilities that usually drive me insane because it's not exactly what I want, because I'm so used to being an Android phone user. Androids are really good in this, for this. Because in Android phones, usually most of them have night mode. Night mode, you can change the exposure. You can go in and go professional. You can put on the professional mode. Oh, I shouldn't have turned my phone on. What's going on here? Everybody's binging me. No, turn off the bings. No, no bings. No more bings. Okay, there we go. Right? And I know there's some people in the building that swear by their Androids because I love my Android. I had my Android all my life. That's all I ever used was an Android, but I had to step it up to an Apple. And sometimes this Apple phone pisses me off in photography mode, but it has capabilities too. I do like the way some of these photos come out in my camera. I have my portrait mode. I have and I can add other things, cinematic, slow motion. Yeah, I can. Those are very basic stuff, but nothing like the Androids, y'all. I have to tell you, the Android phones are the best when it comes to photography. As in, you get more capabilities. But when I can't use my phone from the Apple phone, then I have what's on, and we're going to talk about this, apps. I have an app. I use my Lightroom app. and my Lightroom app has a camera in it. And using that Lightroom camera that is connected to my Lightroom app that I use for editing, which we're going to talk about in a moment, the Lightroom app camera, you can play with your exposure and everything as if you were using your professional camera. So, just wanted to throw that in there with you. So again, turn off the flash. Most people don't realize that the flash was not created for night photography. The flash was created for daytime. What do you mean, Ron? Why? Here's a little bonus. You're getting a bonus moment. You're getting a bonus moment here. It's alert, alert. It's a bonus moment. Flash is what's called filler. It fills in the shadows, like Chris was talking about, filling in the shadows. Fill flash. You're right. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. It fills in the shadow. So when your sun is, because when you take a picture of a person, you don't want the sun facing into their eyes, because then they squint, and they just kind of like, you don't get a beautiful photo from your subject when the sun is facing in their face. So what you do is you put the sun behind the individual, the subject, the person, and then you turn on the flash. And the flash fills in the shadows caused by the sun being behind them. And so we call it fill flash. The flash was created for daylight. Your exposure settings was created for nighttime. Chris says, benefits of a photography degree and a few years of pro work. That's right, Chris. There you go. There you go. I bet a lot of you did not know that the flash was for daylight. The flash. Remember when we used to hang out back in the old days and they used to have the little cubes that you put on your camera? Most people took pictures during the day. Chris says that's why flash is balanced to daylight color. There you go. The professionals are in the room. They're confirming what I'm saying. Because believe me, I got to come here ready and prepared, because there's a lot of photographers here. They will check me. Right? So I got to give you the right information. If you knew, I want to see it in the comment box. If you did not, if this was something new, you did not know, say, Ron, put in a flash. Yes, this is new. Yes, I did not know flash was for the daytime. Yes, I did not know. Yes, put a yes, I did not know. Yes, I did not know. Put it in the comment box. I'm curious. Yes. Mimi says, yeah, they will. Yes, right. These are some hardcore photographers in this room. We got Lady G. We got Chris. We got Anthony. We got a bunch of y'all in here. Those are the ones that are like really like, that's their job. So guys, turn off the flash, but use your exposure, or if you have Android, go into night mode. And the camera will create the settings properly for you to have better pictures at night. But one thing you would not like to, you would like to do, you must do, turn off the flash. Turn off the flash, but use your exposure. Is anybody in the room? I don't see anybody. I guess everybody knew that information. I didn't bring it up before. Again, using the light One of my favorite things to do, what I should say, not things, one of my favorite places to photograph, concerts, because you have all this color and all this light, and you never use a flash at a concert. For photographers, we don't use flash. We let the light do its work. When you got that light coming down from the angle on the star on the stage, or when the band is moving around the stage and the light is moving and crossing, we take advantage as photographers of the light. Like the Bible says, let there be light. We as photographers, what do? I'm on a roll here, y'all. I'm on a roll. Stay with me. What are we? What are we as photographers? We are light chasers. We chase light. So at nighttime, whether it's a concert hall, whether it's sun going down, wherever it is, it's a reflection off a building, it's a light coming out of a store. We are light chasers. We chase the light. We hunt for light. We paint with light. There we go. There's someone that says, Kimmy says, never knew that about the flash. Thank you, Kimmy. Thank you. G says, learning and experimenting with your tools will change your world. Practice makes better results. Perfect doesn't exist. Perfect, let me say it again from G. Perfect doesn't exist. Anthony says, if you use flash at a concert, they will escort you out. Yes, Chris says, literally translating light writers. Cass says, great tips on flash. Yes. Okay, we got another 2. Someone else is awake. Can you hear me out there? We as photographers are light chasers. We chase the light. We chase light. Even a small, beautiful, candlelit room. Light. Your eye is drawn to the light. Whenever you take a photo, your eye will be drawn to the light. The viewer will be drawn to the light. Here's a nice still photo. Still photo. S-T-I-L-L. Still life photo. Reflection of the candlelight in the window. The background of the house. Raindrops on the window pane. The candle in threes in front of you. A beautiful still capture. Your eye goes to the light. Yes. Mimi says, let me get my little cat over here. Mimi says, great. Yes, great tips. Great tips. These are great tips. Here we go. The next one, they're going to be out of here. Experiment with shadows. Ooh. One of our photographers that's been on the show, that have spoken on the show, Michael Young, is a master at shadow photography. Experiment with shadows. Shadows add drama. Use them to frame your subject, to create artistic composition. Shadows and add drama. What do I mean? That's light. I'm just using light there. But look at the shadow here. Look how the shadow is framing the subject. Look how the shadow is framing the subject. Look at that. Fifi says, Ron, if you can't get folks excited about photography, no one can. I love what I do. And I love doing what we do as photographers. And I love seeing all of these tools working. Frame with the shadow. It makes a beautiful composition. Here's another one. Look at that. Finding that little piece of light. Finding that little piece of light and putting your subject's face and body slightly in it, while the rest of the areas are dark and playing with shadows and light behind. This is how you create photos. This is not a lesson on taking pictures or pressing a button, right? This is all about creating photos, creating art. Chris says, that's composition with the use of circumstantial elements of light and dark. This is how you create impact. Exactly. Photographers do not take pictures, we create them. We create photos by knowing these tools, by knowing these rules, by knowing. And like Gwendolyn said earlier, by experimenting and doing it over and over and over again. There is no perfection. Don't let perfection be the death of your creativity. Don't let perfection be the dagger that kills your creativity. Ooh, that's a powerful statement, y'all. Are you hearing me? Don't let perfection be the dagger that kills your creativity. Woo! 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 Chris says, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice creates the foundation. Practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice creates the foundation. Come on, can the photographers say amen? We having photography church here today. Photography church is here. We're having photography church. For all the photographers in the room, for all those that want to be photographers, for all those that want to take your phones out and photograph your world. There you have it. There you have it. Anthony says, perfection will never be achieved. This is art and therefore subjective. Hannah says, yes, I didn't know. I didn't know. Are y'all learning something today? Are y'all learning something today? And if you are happen to check out this video later on, put something in the comment box. Let us know that you are learning. Next, this is next and last, use photo editing apps. Post-shot edits can amplify details and tones. Apps like Snapseed, you hear me say it over and over again. That's my app, right? Snapseed, or my Lightroom Mobile are fantastic for enhancing low light photos. You can play with low light photos. You can intensify in editing light. You can bring up the light a little more. You can bring it down in different areas. You can have what we call dodge and burn. Dodge and burn a project, like move across the photo and highlight something and lower something else. Dodge and burn. There you have it. So if you and Lightroom Mobile is free. They do have a paid version, But Lightroom Mobile is free. They even have Photoshop Mobile. Just go to the Adobe area in Lightroom. I'm sorry, in your store. But you should always, I think, always, you should ever. I tell this community all the time. Snapseed is the biggest bang for the buck. You don't have to pay for it at all. And it has so many tools to make your photography beautiful or to create what you want it to be. This is your creativity. This is about you creating and sharing with the world your photography. You may have just started last week. You may not have even started. You may say, I've always wanted to use my photography. I've always wanted to be a photographer. I always wanted to use my phone as my camera. I don't have a big machine. I just have a phone. That phone is a powerful tool. Use it. Use it. Chris says, that's a classic conversation. Art is subjective. Perfection is objectified. Woo! Come on, y'all. I hear you. I hear you. The photographers are in here. The photographers are participating. The photographers are in the house and they are sharing with you. With you. Come on. You can be a photographer. You can be a photographer. Just begin using this one little tool you got there. Nice little smartphone. You can do it. Get your editing tools. Use those editing tools. Use them on your phone. Use them on your desktop. Use it. Low light photography is beautiful. Nothing like the sun setting, sun rising. Do you know most photographers, especially landscape photographers, their best time of the day is an hour or two before sunrise. They get up at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning to get their photos. And then they go home and go to sleep while the rest of us work. Landscape photographers, their best work is done early in the morning. Low light, lower light, no harsh noonday sun. There you have it. The conclusion of the matter. Try these tips this week and photograph your world like a pro. How many are you going to do that? How many are going to take out their cameras this week and test the waters of low light photography? How many? How many are going to do it? How many? I want to know. Is there anyone out there that's receiving this information? I see people online. Anyone out there? Anyone out there? How many of you are going to use your camera? Experiment. Play with your cameras. You have it everywhere you go. Use it. Use it. Chris says, let me get the next one. Chris says, you don't have to be a professional to call yourself a photographer. There you go. There you go. Mimi says, I am. She says, I have a birthday the next 3 weeks. Get out there and photograph your world. What's stopping you? What's stopping you? Only you can stop you. You can do this. You can do this. Okay, where's my little banner? Where's my little banner? If you want to join the email list, make sure you go to ronlewisphotos.com. Put yourself on the mailing list. It comes up immediately. You can just get that and make sure you do that. Also, I am an event photographer. That's how I make my money. If you know someone that's looking for a photographer, send them my way. I do event photography for corporations. That's mainly what I do. But I also do private events for people's homes and parties and birthdays and, bar mitzvahs and all that other stuff. I do it. I do event photography. And again, as I repeat, thank you for the Patreon members for supporting what we do here. And if you are not a Patreon member, become a Patreon member so you can support what we do here. And last but not least, Photograph Your World, Virtual Basic Photography 101. Fun tutoring using your camera model, creative instructions, and learning at your pace. And I also, if you live in New York, I'm available in-person tutoring in New York City as well. Okay, we can learn and teach and learn. There you have it. There we go. Okay, there you got it. Any questions? Any questions out there? Any questions? Any questions before I leave this subject? Any questions? I'm leaving the room up for a Q&A, and then we're out of here. I know we're a little longer. We went long today. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to go so long. Oh, this is almost a 2-hour event. Holy moly, I didn't realize the time. I got so excited. About the photography. I had 2 subjects to tell you about today. So here we go. Any questions? Any Q&A? Going once. Going twice. Going 3 times. And we are gone. Guys, have a wonderful day. Have a great day. Do something special. Get those cameras out. Photograph your world. I will see you tomorrow. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and leave a comment on this video. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again. Until I see you next time.